And now, Mike's thoughts.
Fake rage is one of the most intriguing and funny things out there. When people get pissed off over some of the stupidest things, I'm just like, are you really mad? Are you just trying to jump on that media train? Are you trying to get the clicks? Are you trying to get the views? Last night, we had a relatively uneventful night, and I got into the YouTube wormhole. Last night I got into the View, that's right, the View YouTube channel, and they're talking about my man Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship. Basically, the host, Joey Bayower, I think however you say her name, she basically called Travis Kelce illiterate. Called him, just basically flat out called him stupid. Let me pull up this a clip here, and we'll listen to it together.
I have to say to you, how big a problem would this be for you?
Well, here's one of his quotes. Damn, the Clippers girls got to be the girls that don't make the Lakers team because they was all ugly.
Okay, so this girl is pissed off about a tweet that Travis Kelce did in like 2010. He was in college at the time, looking at potential girls at the Clippers and saying, these girls aren't very good looking. I mean, I hate to say it, but some of the Clipper girls are not very good looking. It is what it is. So why get pissed off about that? But let's continue. Her fake rage gets even more impressive.
Forget about.
Well, I love the dramatic reading.
But I mean,
forget
he's illiterate. Is more to the point.
So she called him illiterate, aka stupid, because he thought that some girls were prettier than other girls. Well, listen here, Miss Joy, girl right there in the middle. It takes a very, very smart individual to read a NFL playbook. Just because some NFL players have ways of speaking that are not up to your standards does not make them stupid. Many people called me stupid because of my stutter for many, many, many years. I'm actually a very, very smart individual. I just know what pisses people off, and I know how to get your goat. But just because somebody does not articulate very well does not make them stupid or illiterate or this. But she goes on even further.
Well, but the question is, I guess, do you go into your...
Well, he's upset, but he's obsessed with the girls not looking good. That was his thing. Why can't girls hide their back fat? They back fat.
Back fat?
Yeah, they're back fat. I feel like if you want to be a cheerleader, you have to pass a beauty test. There's too many ugly cheerleaders out here. What obsessed with women?
Which Travis Kelce isn't wrong. Cheerleaders are supposed to be the cream of the crop. Cheerleaders are supposed to be good-looking individuals. Cheerleaders are supposed to be the people that are out there kind of like, you know, hey, this is our brand. Look at us, middle-aged man. Look at these young, hot women, middle-aged man. Come throw us some dollar bills at the football game so you can come see this good-looking girl. Let's go on.
Listen, why do you care what he thinks?
I love my little, I'm a Swiftie.
I do know you're a Swiftie.
And I love her because she's getting young people out to vote.
Right, but she doesn't have a problem with him because listen, it's like having daughters, as you will find out. They bring...
Then you know, Whoopi Goldberg goes into some tyrant chat saying, hey, if you're going to if you have a daughter, you bring a man home, you just kind of gotta stick it, right? You're like, yeah, whatever. And then that Joy girl's like, no, you can't. You can kick out that illiterate mofo, kick him to the curb. This fake outrage that I saw last night on this View clip, this is from like 3 or 4 months ago. I don't know why it's just now popping up on my timeline, but it is stupid. It is stupid. Travis Kelce, live your life, man. Live your life. Have fun. You're whatever. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it high. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhatcher here with the Man Hour. Be sure to over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section. Check out the Merchandise section. Of course, check out our forums as well. Also, this show is powered by NFLtoday.co. Go over there, support that brand, support those stats, support those game footage. We put in a lot of work over there on that website, and we would like you guys to enjoy it much as I enjoy it. We are still tinkering with it a little bit. So if there's something that you like and you don't see it on there, like, hey, but why don't you add this? Why don't you add a little bit of that? Why don't you tinker with this and make this blue instead of red? I am all up for suggestions 100%, but that is at NFLtoday.co. I basically mocked it off of ESPN. Let's just be flat out honest about that. But Pigskin Pundit, guys, the link is in the description below. Become a Pigskin Pundit today. We do have the members only after show, random live streams like we did yesterday talking about the Stephon Diggs trade. Of course, you get free merch, but most importantly, you get access to all the NFL games in 2024. That's right. Become a Pigskin Pundit, you get to live stream whatever game you'd like to watch. This is a live interactive show. Comments are encouraged. Talk yourself, but be ready to defend yourself because this is live, raw, and uncut. Let's welcome some people into the chat. Here we got my man, James Chamberlain in the chat. Good morning, James. Fret's out the Nashville. I don't know how the weather is there in Nashville, James, right now, but right now, here in southern Indiana, it is cold as balls. It goes from 80 degrees to two tornadoes till we have sleet on the ground now. Like, what? I thought it was spring. But he says those women on that show are psychotic. You are 100% correct on that. I have never watched a view from start to finish by any stretch of the imagination, but every now and then I do watch a YouTube show called the Officer Tatum Show, I think, and he is consistently dogging those women up and down. And I saw was it Raven Simone like on there, and I thought she was like straight up dyke on that, but I don't know, but yeah, those women's are pretty crazy. Watching Bills fans eat at each other after the Diggs trade, etc., was epic. We'll be talking about the Stephon Diggs trade here momentarily. We are going to dive deep into that. Are the Bills really rebuilding in the middle of Josh Allen's prime? Let's talk about that. Moving forward, he says it's windy as F in Nashville. I haven't been outside here in Indiana, but I'm sure the wind is howling. Timothy says it's 35 degrees in Iowa. Good Lord, Timothy. You can keep that 35 degrees. Actually, it's like 38 degrees here, I think, is what my computer says. It is. Seriously, though, guys, it's freaking April 4th, 2024, 10 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast, and we're worried about snow and freeze warnings. What is going on in this world? But we know one thing that is going on, and one thing that always seems to be on the news of many people here are the Kansas City Chiefs. As you guys know, we spoke about this yesterday, that the voters of Jackson County and Kansas City, Missouri, decided to vote down a sales tax to basically renovate Arrowhead Stadium and Kauffman Stadium. Now, fans out there have been running wild, and actually some media members have been running wild with this aspect, think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to move, whether it's to St. Louis, whether it's to Iowa, whether it's to somewhere in Omaha, Nebraska, or Oklahoma City. Hell, I have even heard Louisville, Kentucky be thrown around a little bit. But then I got to thinking here a little bit, thinking like, you know what, every year, like, there is always like that reconstruction of the conferences and divisions within the NFL. So I got to thinking here, guys, what city in the United States that you really think could use a NFL team? I'm not talking about Mexico City or Europe or any of that crap. I want in the United States. In the continental United States, not Hawaii, not Alaska, but in the 48 states here in the continental United States of America, what city do you guys think deserves a NFL team? And many people are, like I said, like out there saying, Louisville, Kentucky needs a professional team, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's whatever, right? I can tell you this. the people of Louisville do not want a professional team. The only thing Louisville wants is to represent their cards and go buy barbecue in the streets on 4th Street Live. That is all they want to do. So go ahead and throw Louisville out there. But then I got to think of Oklahoma City. Listen, I've been to Oklahoma City, and I absolutely love the town, love the city. I love just the architect of Oklahoma City, how like all the bricks are laid out. They're all like white. It's just a very, very amazing, beautiful town. And I feel like Oklahoma fans, the state of Oklahoma, the city of Oklahoma City would really just embrace a NFL team like they have embraced the Oklahoma City Thunder there. And I think that would be a pretty damn good fit. They got the population, they got the support, and it's right smack in the middle of football country. You have Oklahoma State and Stillwater. You have Oklahoma and like Norman. You put a professional team right there. You see Oklahoma State fans and OU fans in the same stadium. Whoa. But guys, let me ask you that question. What city do you guys think in the continental United States deserves or needs a NFL team? Carson Lang is in the chat. Good morning, Carson. He says that's an interesting thing. Hopefully, more to offer to trade up for a top receiver in the draft. We are going to be talking a lot about the Buffalo Bills here coming up, Carson. So stay tuned, and CJ is going to ball out, is what Timothy says. But speaking of balling out, let's get into the title segment of today's show, and that is the put up or shut up. There are many free agents out there in 2025 that are going to be happening in 2025. Some of them are some big name quarterbacks, such as Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and the one and only Tua Tagovailoa. With that being said, we are going to dive into some stats here, dive into some potentials here, and is it time to put up or shut up for these players? Do they need to put up amazing stats to get signed, or do they just need to shut up and ride off into the sunset here? And let's dive into it. And guys, play along in the chat because it is going to be fun. First up, free agent in 2025 is going to be Jordan Love. Jordan Love, guys, obviously is a pretty good quarterback. Had a pretty damn good season last year. Threw for 4,159 yards passing, 32 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. He did beat the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card playoff round last season, but ultimately did lose to the 49ers in the divisional round. This was his first year starting. So as a first-year starter, a.k.a. rookie quarterback, Jordan Love puts up over 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Now, he did start off rough, like I predicted. The first 4, 5, 6 games of the year are going to be rough. But then they got clicking, they got rolling, and they are going to the moon, baby. Right now, per overthecap.com, Jordan Love's future contract is going to be worth about $36.1 million per season. Right now, in 2025, the Green Bay Packers have about $69.9 million in cap space. However, they do got some free agency coming up. Isaiah McDuffie in 2025. You got big name A.J. Dillon going to be a free agent again, probably going to be gone on it. Like, honestly, but then 2026 is where it really starts to hit the fan. You got Quay Walker, you got Christian Washington, you got Romeo Dobbs, that wide receiver core and linebacker core, all up for free agency at the end of 2026 season. So 2024, Jordan Love, does he have to put up or does he have to shut up to get this deal? Jordan Love, guys, is probably going to get signed for a pretty long-term deal in Green Bay. Whether he takes a hometown discount, whether he gets way overpaid, either way, he is going to get a deal in Green Bay. Per over the cap, like I said, he is valued to right about $36.1 million per season. However, the latest trends in the NFL is the next quarterback to get paid is going to be the next highest paid quarterback. Obviously, Jared Goff is going to have to get paid. Tua is going to get paid. Dak's going to get paid. Brock Purdy's going to get paid, right? The list goes on and on and on. So it is smart for the Green Bay Packers to put up right now. It is time for them to put up some money for Jordan Love right now. Do not let him go into free agency into the 2025 season and beyond. Sign him right now. Give him the $35, $36 million a season that he is valued at right now. Give him a 5-6 year deal and ride off into the sunset, because in 2026, shit's going to hit the fan. Kristen Watson's going to want his bag. Romeo Doubs going to want his bag. Quay Walker going to want his bag. So, guys, is it time for Jordan Love to put up another great season, or does he need to shut up? What do you think? Timothy says, I lived in Oklahoma for 14 years, and they say they have Sooner football team. Doesn't make sense. James says, Jordan is going to put up and be a Green Bay Packers for years to come. I think you are right. I think for whatever reason, the Green Bay Packers quarterback issues is just like the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching issues, right? Once you're there forever. You're one of us. Timothy says, I'd say Love just keep it up and he'll get paid pretty good. Yeah, as long as Jordan Love does the 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns to 11 interceptions like he did last season, he is going to be a very well paid quarterback. Brandon Renner's in the chat, and he says, who the hell is Quay Walker? It's Quay Walker. Quay Walker. He is a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. Very, very good linebacker. Probably top 5, top 10 linebackers in the NFL right now. Very, very good player. Quay Walker. Not Quid. Quay Walker. Next up on our put up or shut up list, here is Jared Goff. Jared Goff will be entering his final year of his deal with the Detroit Lions this season and become an unrestricted free agent in 2025. Last season, he did put up 4,500 yards passing to 30 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Did lead the Detroit Lions to the NFC Championship game, but with an epic second half failure. Granted, it was not all Jared Goff. There's a lot of play calling, a lot of drop passes, but whatever, we get beside that point. Per overthecap.com, Jared Goff's going to be worth about $33.3 million going into the 2025 season. However, the Detroit Lions have $125 million in cap space going into 2025. But they are getting hit big time by the free agent market as well. Taylor Decker, going to be a free agent, offensive lineman. Penny Sewell, going to be a free agent, offensive lineman. Jonathan People-Jones, going to be a free agent, wide receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown, free agent. Aiden Hutchinson in 2026, going to be a free agent. He does have a club option in 2026, but he should probably get a deal now. Jameson Williams, also a free agent in 2026. So when we look at Jared Goff, guys, I feel he has been kind of a underrated quarterback for many, many years. He did lead the Rams to the Super Bowl. Yes, they did get beat down, but was it by the Patriots, right? One of the worst Super Bowls ever, as some people call it. It was like a 93 score, something ridiculous. And then kind of fluttered around there the next season and then got shipped off to Detroit. Been consistently putting up pretty good numbers for Detroit year in and year out. However, last season, the Detroit Lions did draft a quarterback by the name of Hendon Hooker. Kind of took a flyer on him in the third round, was it? I can't remember. They verified. They drafted Hendon Hooker in basically preparations to take over for Jared Goff. So does Jared Goff got to put up this year, guys, to get that deal, or is he going to shut up and just ride off into the sunset? I think the Detroit Lions have a plan built for Jared Goff. I think the Detroit Lions have a plan built for the quarterback room moving forward, and I do not think it involves Jared Goff. The only way Jared Goff signs maybe a 2-year bridge contract or maybe some type of franchise tag in 2025 is if he takes the Detroit Lions to the Super Bowl. If the Detroit Lions are not in the Super Bowl this season and the NFL season of 2024, Jared Goff is no longer a Detroit Lion. I don't care if it's $30 million. I don't care if it's $40 million. I don't care if it's $19.9 million. Jared Goff will probably not be a Detroit Lion moving forward unless he takes them to the Super Bowl. Now, I do think Jared Goff is a very serviceable quarterback. I do think Jared Goff still has a lot left in the tank. What, the man's only like 33 years old. He probably has at least 6-7 more years left in him, right? Hendon Hooker's going to be 30 this year. If I'm the Detroit Lions, I don't risk my future on Hendon Hooker. I would love to keep Jared Goff in town, but many people like Luke G out there, a Detroit Lions podcast, right? Other shows that I listen to, Hear the Lions Roar, Roaring of the Lions, right? There's a bunch of shows that I intertwined with and guest on many times, and none of them seem to like Jared Goff. And I don't understand why. I think the Detroit Lions should put up for Jared Goff. Led them to the NFC Championship game last season, 4,500 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, just 12 interceptions. You got $125 million cap space. Yes, Amarod's going to want some money. Yes, Adrian Hutchinson's going to want some money. You should probably keep Taylor Decker and Penny Sewell as well. Keep that core offensive line together. But I think the Detroit Lions need to put up, but I think they're going to shut up and they're going to move on from Jared Goff after this season. Brandon says, thank you for verifying. No problem, man. No problem. John Peoples in the chat says, good morning, all you old hens crackling about this AM. Talking about the Detroit Lions, man. John says, put up. Go Lions. Go Lions, he says. James says, Goff is going to be a Jet in 2025 bucket. That would make sense. If the New York Jets, James, do not draft a quarterback in this year's draft, Aaron Rodgers is on the final year of his contract. Now, he can't opt in for an extra year. I don't think he will. But I think he is going to do one last ride with the Jets, and then he is going to go to a team like the Dallas Cowboys or to a team like potentially like the Miami Dolphins. He is going to go to a team that's ready to win right now. And I think the Jets might overpay for a quarterback like Jared Goff or overpay for a quarterback like who else did we just talk about? Tua, right? Or overpay for a quarterback like Dak Prescott, Jordan Love. I think the Jets are going to be hot and heavy in this free agent quarterback market in 2025, and money talks. Money talks. So if you are a team like the Detroit Lions or the Green Bay Packers, you better book your guy now because the Jets are going to come calling 100%. Brandon here, maybe with the comment of the day already here on this 10:20 in the morning here. He says Browns and Lions are going to the Super Bowl this year. They're going to the Super Bowl. I bet you the Browns don't even win 9 games this season. Listen, this is the difference between last season and this season with the Browns and the Lions, right? Last season, the Browns were very reliant on their defense. Yes, they did go through 4 quarterbacks last season. Yes, they did make the playoffs. Yes, they did lose to the Houston Texans in the wild card game with the 4th string quarterback by the name of Joe Flacco. I get it. But that defense is what carried the Browns all season long. Now, if Deshaun Watson is a shell of himself, even a 70% Deshaun Watson from the Houston days playing in Cleveland probably gets them to the playoffs. However, the AFC is very, very stacked. The AFC is a very, very good team. And if they have to ride that defense again, I think the defense is going to flutter out again like they did in the playoffs. But hopefully Deshaun Watson can come up and do a little something. Now the Lions. My man Jay isn't here, but he is a huge Lions fan, and he has loved what the Lions have done all offseason. He has loved what the Detroit Lions have done this offseason, signing whoever they signed. I don't even know who they signed. But the NFC is so wide open right now because we spoke about the 49ers yesterday, right? How they have to win right now or their Super Bowl window is shut. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. On paper, they're probably one of the best teams in the NFC, but you don't win games on paper. rest of the NFC, you can probably throw the Packers in there. You could maybe potentially throw the Bears in there, seeing how their off season goes. Don't sleep on the Bucks. But the NFC is so wide open that it would not surprise me one bit if the Detroit Lions do get there. I do not think the 49ers, however, will go back to the NFC Championship game. I think that ship has kind of sailed a little bit, right? That ship is getting tired and wore out. They need a lackluster year. They need a year where they get knocked out in the first round or don't make the playoffs at all. They need some type of reality check, right? I'm not saying they're not a good team. I'm just saying sometimes you have to get hungry again. I think the 49ers are a little bit full. John says, restoring the roar in 24. I think the roar has already been restored, John. Timothy Nicholas says the Bears. Listen, the Bears were a 7-and team last year with suspect offensive play calling at best. We broke down Justin Fields' film about a month ago, right? It was the Bears versus, forgot what game it was. It was like week 5, week 6 game. It was their first win of the season. Justin Fields had all the athletic ability in the world. There were times when play calling was spot on and they would run some BS quarterback draw, right? The play calling in Chicago is what has been the issue. They have the talent. They have the will. They have some of the it factor, right? They have a head coach that has to win now. They have a general manager that has to win now. The Bears could be a very good dark horse pick if you are a betting person, or the Las Vegas Raiders. Jesus. Timothy says, I think Jared Goff takes a pay cut. I mean, I feel that the Detroit Lions are wanting to move on from Jared Goff. I feel that the Detroit Lions want to see what they have in Hendon Hooker. I feel that the Detroit Lions are going to say, we don't want a Green Bay Packers situation to whether we know, are you coming or are you staying? Are you coming or like, are you staying? It just, I don't know. It is what it is. Excuse me. Jameson says Dak will be a free agent in 2025 as well. He is. I was not going to talk about Dak Prescott because we know how all those Dallas Cowboys haters are. They're like, oh, they have to put up. He has to put up. He has to win a supervisor, yada, yada, or a Super Bowl. Has to do this, has to do that. But yes, Dak Prescott is a free agent in 2025 as well. And I think Dak is going to get paid, whether it's by the Jets, whether it's by another team. But a player that should not be paid next season, that is Tua. Tua last season did throw for 4,624 yards last season, 29 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. They did lose to the Chiefs in the wild card round in 2023. Per over the cap, he is valued at about $37 million per season. $37 million per season. That is higher than Jared Goff. That is higher than Jordan Love. Right now, he is the most valued high quarterback that we are speaking about right now. However, in 2025, Arthur Brown's Miami Dolphins and James's Miami Dolphins only has $32 million in cap space. That is all they got. They got $32 million in cap space going into 2025. Guess what? Jalen Waddle up for free agency. Jeff Wilson up for free agency. Fast forward to 2026. Jalen Ramsey up for free agency. Jalen Phillips up for free agency. Raheem Mostert up for free agency. Guys, the Miami Dolphins are in the biggest world of hurt right now because the Miami Dolphins have a team that can win right now. The Miami Dolphins, on paper right now, they should be in the Super Bowl and beating any team in the NFL. They have it. They have the roster. They have Jalen Waddle. They have a solid running game. They have the best secondary in the NFL. Front seven, we'll see. A little sus right now, but we'll see what they got moving forward. The simple fact of the matter is, right now, Tua has to put up. Tua has to have a 5,000-yard passing season. Tua has to have 33 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Tua has to get his team to the Super Bowl or at least the AFC Championship game. Tua has to put up or he is going to be walking the line in New York or he is going to go to Seattle or hell, he might end up in Dallas. He's not going to get his $38 million a season by any stretch of the imagination from the Miami Dolphins. So he better put up right now. So guys, let me ask this question. Does Tua have to put up for the Miami Dolphins this season to become or to stay a Miami Dolphin in 2025? John People says, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams reunited tour. Aaron Rodgers to Las Vegas, says John. The cold got to Tua. Listen, that game in Kansas City was the coldest I have ever been. I ended up going to that game. It was like negative, 20 degrees, freezing my booty off. They were literally giving away $20 tickets. I'm like, well, might as well make the 8-hour drive, go to my first ever playoff game, enjoy it. But it was stupid cold. Now, it's a little bit colder when you're losing. Obviously, when you're down, when you're behind the sticks, it's just a little bit colder. When you're winning, it's a little bit warmer, right? But I do concur. I do think the cold in that Kansas City game did get to Tua. But go beyond that coldness, Tua has a history of not staying healthy. And what is the biggest knock on Joe Burrow right now? What's the biggest knock on Lamar Jackson right now? They can't stay healthy. They are really good quarterbacks. You could put great on their name. But the best availability or the best ability is availability. And right now, Tua has an availability problem. Joe Burrow has an availability problem along with Lamar Jackson. Jameson says Lions will probably re-sign Jared Goff. I mean, I honestly hope they do. I'm kind of liking some Jared Goff. John People says or Dallas like right first round departure. I mean, it is what it is. How did the Raiders do in the playoffs, John? James thinks, which James is a Miami Dolphins fan. Let's go ahead and put that caveat out there. But he says, I think Tua gets signed. Dolphins have the most restructurable contracts in the league, which is a good thing, right? You want to be able to rework those deals with the $32 million cap space. You want to be able to, hey, Tyreek Hill, let's convert your money into signing bonus, or let's convert your money into performance base or something, which is a very, very good thing. He also says James also says Tua did not miss a snap last season. You are correct, but I was talking about the previous year where he missed the most important playoff game of the Miami Dolphins career, right? They had a 4-string they had my man Skylar Thompson starting that game versus the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs from the Kansas State University. I do love me some guy, Skylar Thompson. I think he has a possibility of being a pretty good quarterback in the NFL if he gets a chance on the right team. But you have to be out there all the time. John says they beat the Super Bowl champs on Christmas, the Raiders. Still living in the past. Still living in the past, I see. But speaking of living in the past, the Buffalo Bills are not living in the past. They are moving on from 2023 season. They are cleaning house. They're cleaning house right now. And with the biggest trade that happened yesterday, actually probably one of the biggest trades that happened all offseason so far, Stephon Diggs was traded to the Houston Texans for a second-round pick in 2025 and a sixth-round pick in 2024. Many people on our members-only live stream last night saying that Diggs is a cancer on the team. Stephon Diggs is a cancer. Move that cancer down to Houston. Good, right? It is good up, right? But if you look beyond the ego of Diggs, if you look past that cancer statement, Stephon Diggs puts up decent numbers year in and year out. Last season, he did lead the Buffalo Bills with 1,183 yards receiving to 8 touchdowns. But the question that we got to ask here is, did the Houston Texans make a mistake by trading for Stephon Diggs? Did the Houston Texans insert a foreign entity into their bodies that's going to mess them up? That is the question. First of all, let's look at Stephon Diggs' stats. If you take away the first 3 seasons that he had in Minnesota, where he still just had 850 yards average receiving per season, he has had over 1,100 yards the last 6 seasons. 6 seasons in a row, he has been an 1,100-yard receiver with just under double-digit touchdowns on average. Stephon Diggs puts up the numbers. Stephon Diggs does put the money where his mouth is over and over and over again. But when you move Stephon Diggs to a young team like the Houston Texans, second-year quarterback, second-year coach, very young defense, very young offense in general, right? You instantly become the vet/leader on that team. The young players such as C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, Dameon Pierce will follow Stephon Diggs. Subconsciously or not, they will take cues from Stephon Diggs and be like, hey, he has been in the league for 9-10 years now. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. Let's follow him. However, it's going to take a very strong-minded head coach to really reel in the Stephon Diggs drama. It's going to take a strong staff, a strong team, a strong quarterback to really reel in Stephon Diggs in 2024. And I think the Houston Texans have the perfect mix to do that. DeMeco Ryans is just that guy. DeMeco Ryans is the guy to reel in a name, Stephon Diggs. DeMeco Ryans is going to lead the Houston Texans to a very, very good season with Stephon Diggs. Guys, the Houston Texans, not only did they get better this offseason with the addition of Danielle Hunter and other big names such as Joe Mixon, which now they have a 1-2 punch in the running back room with Dameon Pierce and Joe Mixon. They added Stephon Diggs to that already pretty stout wide receiver room. 4th-year receiver Nico Collins. They got the 2nd-year receiver Tank Dell. They got Robert Woods still. He is entering his 12th season. We don't know if he's going to play or not, but right now he is on the roster. And John Metchie III. Oh, by the way, they still got Dalton Schultz, a very, very good tight end. The Houston Texans guys did not make a mistake by bringing Stephon Diggs in. They are making a chess move right now. Actually, I take that back. They're making a checkers move right now. The Houston Texans, they are legit all in on the next 3 years. They want to win as many Super Bowls as they can with C.J. Stroud on a rookie deal right now. That is why they're making these moves, because they know C.J. Stroud is going to be a very, very high-paid man in 4 years. Very, very high-paid man. I do not think the Houston Texans made a mistake by trading for Stephon Diggs. I do not. I do, however, think that they become the front runner in the AFC South. We spoke on it yesterday, how I thought the Titans were, but then this trade happens literally 10 minutes after the live stream is over. I believe Jameson said it in the live stream, like, hey, they just traded for Stephon Diggs. The Houston Texans guys are the real deal. They are the real deal right now, and they did not make a mistake. Let me know in the comments, guys. Did the Houston Texans make a mistake by trading for Stephon Diggs? James says nobody, and I mean nobody, circles their drain like the Buffalo Bills. They are going down. They are going down. Jameson says Love gets re-signed. I won't be surprised if Stafford retires and Rams sign Dak Prescott. That is actually a really good idea. I love that. Timothy Nicholas says, crazy, Diggs was Allen's go-to guy. Wow. We are going to talk about the Buffalo Bills. We are going to talk about them potentially rebuilding right now. But if you look at the Buffalo Bills locker room in general, they have maybe 5-6 starters left from last year's team. They have Von Miller, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, Josh Allen, AJ, is it Epsteina? Is that his name? The Buffalo Bills are, I don't know. They are weird. John says, yes, he is a locker room cancer. Let me ask you this, though, question, John, because I kind of thought the same thing. When the Buffalo Bills lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs 2 years ago with like 13 seconds left, we saw Stephon Diggs yelling at Josh Allen. Last season, when the Buffalo Bills lost to the Kansas City Chiefs again in the playoffs, we saw Stephon Diggs yelling at Josh Allen. Is that really a cancer, or is that just kind of like him wanting the best out of his guy? Like, damn it, man, we had it. We were right there. Let's go get it next season. You can look at it on either side of the coin. You can see it as this guy is yelling at his star quarterback after like a loss at his BS. He is a cancer, yada, yada, yada. But if you really look at it, have you ever really heard of Stephon Diggs really like ousting anybody in the middle of the season? Have you really ever heard him kind of being a diva, right? Even when the new offensive coordinator came in midseason for the Buffalo Bills, and Stephon Diggs was kind of written out of the offense, and James Cook was running the hell out of the ball. You really never seen him go to the media and say, this is bullshit. I want the ball. I want this. No, he kind of just put his nose down and kind of went to work. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't be a cancer. I mean, this all could be behind closed doors, but from what we see in the media, what we see on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, etc., I don't see him being a cancer. John says, ask any Bills fan. Speaking of Bills fan right there, Carson Lang is a Bills fan. Big, long tweet doesn't all come up on the page here, but let me read it for you. Carson Lang says, what were the cancerous traits that Diggs was portraying? Exactly. Getting pissed when a team's losing and posting cryptic tweets? Question mark. The world wants him to be a cancer because the Vikings said he caused the Vikings and Diggs dirty. Carson Lang is right. We want to portray Stephon Diggs as this bad guy. Kind of like what we did with Terrell Owens, right? We wanted Terrell Owens to be this bad guy. When he was doing sit-up in his driveway when he's wanting a contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, we wanted him to be this bad guy. And Stephon Diggs is showing none of this cancer stuff here. Yes, he does tweet some stuff. You're like, what are you talking about? I mean, he has saying that he would love to play with his brother, which I think as a dad, like, I don't have a brother, but as a dad that has two boys, I would love to see both of my boys play on the same team. Like, that would be amazing, dream come true, right? But I think Carson's like, answer the question, John. What cancerous traits out there is Stephon Diggs portraying? John says he attacked Allen before they traded him. How did he attack him? By calling him out, saying, hey, you got to do better. You are the leader. Do better. Is that really attacking him, or is that holding people accountable? I want that out of my players. I want my players to hold other players accountable. Jameson says, I told you Buffalo wasn't a contender and Houston was a few days ago. You did. You did. And I thought the Buffalo Bills was going to keep Stephon Diggs at that particular time. I thought they were going to maybe draft some defensive help with their 23rd overall pick. Right? But now that is weird. Von Miller is washed up. Von Miller was coming off that ACL injury last season, and they definitely babied him all through season. If they babied him because he's getting like $100 million, right? You want him to come back next season and be good. So this year we'll see how washed up Von Miller is, or if he's just, was just being held back. Carson Lang says he yelled at him on the bench when they weren't doing great, not in attack. Holding players accountable, right? When Carson, you know this very, 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 very well. I had a buddy that we used to play softball with back in Kansas. This particular guy would like to stretch out singles into doubles and into triples all the time. His name was Alan Fox. Fast little shit, but he always does some stupid ass shit. Sometimes you got to reel that in a little bit and like, look, singles will win you a game too, buddy. You don't got to get a double and get yourself thrown out, right? We're holding players accountable. We're holding people accountable. That's why Alan ultimately quit softball and started playing disc golf. AJ Espedina is the guy's name. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Diggs is a baller, says Timothy. Yeah, he is a baller. 6 seasons with 1,100 yards plus, with just under double-digit touchdowns. 3 years in Minnesota, he was averaging right about 850 yards per season. That is tough. That's tough. John says, getting in his QB's head, he's a selfish receiver. I would say that, John. I could support your selfish receiver role, whatever, right? Every receiver in the NFL wants the ball. Every receiver in the NFL thinks they're open all the time. However, he is not selfish, because from week 10 on, the Buffalo Bills basically took him out of the offensive scheme. His production went from 150 to 200 yards a game down to like 50, because James Cook was running the piss out of the ball. If he was selfish, then give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Winning cures all. Carson says Diggs dropped the ball on a beautifully placed pass. But as a Buffalo Bills fan, I will miss him and hope he does good shit. What else can you say? BS, says James. The Buffalo Bills fan loved that guy, and they immediately started trashing him. Listen, I think that's with like every NFL team, right? When you lose a big name guy, oh, he wasn't good anyway. He was trash. He was this. He was that, right? When old Miami Dolphins, what defensive tackle did you guys just lose to the Raiders? Christian Watson, right? When you guys lost him, it was like, oh, he wasn't that good anyways. He was going to get overpaid. The Raiders are overpaying for him, yada, yada, yada. Devontae Adams goes to the Raiders. He was over the hill anyways. We have a nice young receiver core anyways. We'll be fine. Fans are always like that, right? Kansas City Chiefs fan. Oh, we didn't need Tyreek Hill, overpaid ass anyways. He was wanting too much money. He didn't do that good. It is what it is. Fans always want to come out on top. Teams always want to come out on top. Just like when you break up with the girlfriend and she gets a new guy. Oh, that guy must be a piece of shit. She wasn't worth it anyways. Get out of here. Enjoy my sloppy seconds. Right? It just... All fans will bash players that they loved and worshipped and wore their jersey. When they go to a different team out, they're going to dog. They're going to dog him. It is what it is. Miller got paid $5 million per sack last season. Yeah, ouch. And he also missed, the first 8 or 9 games? See Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens, not a cancer. Terrell Owens was just a very passionate person. Terrell Owens just wanted to play football. That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Wilkins is a monster. Look at James trying to change the narrative. Now that Christian Wilkins is out of the picture, after Miami Dolphins fans dogged him, all of a sudden, he's okay. John brings up the names of Randy Moss and Antonio Brown. All players that just wanted to win. Antonio Brown had a little something going on upstairs. When Antonio Brown left Pittsburgh to go to Oakland at the time and froze his feet, you know something was like wrong. you knew something was wrong at that particular point. But speaking of the Buffalo Bills, this offseason seems all but basically blowing up their team. They've traded away Stephon Diggs. They let Leonard Floyd walk. They let Kyle Allen walk, Damon Harrison, Shaq Lawson, Latavius Murray, Gabe Davis, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davion Wright, Jordan Phillips, just to name a few. All players that are no longer on the Buffalo Bills. So we got to ask this question, guys. Why are the Buffalo Bills trying to rebuild in the middle of Josh Allen's prime? Or are they? When you look at the Buffalo Bills, guys, right now, they are a team that is, I think, retooling, right? When you let Gabe Davis walk away, when you traded Stephon Diggs, that shows you that they were not confident in their receiver room. When you look at the receiver room right now, there's a lot of names that I do not know. The only name that comes to mind when I look at the roster right now is Curtis Samuels. Curtis Samuels did have 613 yards last season with 4 touchdowns, with 4 tutties. When you look at the Buffalo Bills on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks. But on the offensive side, they're still pretty good. They quickly developed a two-headed monster at tight end with Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. They got a nice, solid running back at James Cook. I still think he's running on the Dallas Cowboys untouched. Yep, there it is for 1,200 yards now. But I think the Buffalo Bills are just retooling. They are retooling because Josh Allen is in his prime. And they got a new offensive coordinator that, maybe they need to put more emphasis on the running side of the ball. So let's get out of these high-paid receivers that are going to want some money. Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. Let's just get them out of town and potentially bring in some rookies. Right now, the Buffalo Bills do hold 2 late round, first round pick and second round pick. There are some pretty good receivers in this draft. Some of them might go 12, 15, 18 range there, right? Pretty good range of where the receivers should land. I think the Buffalo Bills are retooling, and I think they'll be just fine. I do think they'll add some good defensive pieces somewhere down the line still. Simmons is still a free agent, right? There are some other big name safeties that are still out there. The names slipping my mind right now, but they will fill the spots as needed. But the Buffalo Bills were in salary cap hell. They had to let some people walk, and let's bring some fresh new blood. Let's bring some fresh blood. So let me ask you guys this question. Do you think it is dumb that the Buffalo Bills are retooling / rebuilding in Josh Allen's time and prime? I do not think it's dumb. I think it's very, very smart. What do you guys think? Jameson says the Bills should trade number 28 and a third for T. Higgins. Arizona should trade 27 and a third for Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is a free agent in 2025. So if Ayuk does go to the Cardinals, it's going to have to be with the implications of a deal is going to get worked out. Because right now the Arizona Cardinals hold the fourth overall pick, fourth overall pick, and everything points that they're going to get Marvin Harrison. So we'll see. But I do like the Bills trading for T. Higgins. I think that would be good. James says, I didn't. Losing that man hurt. No. Losing Christian Wilkins did hurt the front seven a lot. Carson says Antonio Brown could have been a good kicker too. Antonio Brown would have been a great kicker. Jameson says you could say the Buffalo Bills were cutting dead weight. That is a great point. I didn't even think about that. I mean, when you look at some of these names, Latavius Murray, Gabe Davis, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davion White, Jordan Phillips, Leonard Floyd, Kyle Allen, were they just kind of just holding them down? Like the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2020, right? Sometimes you got to make bold moves to progress forward, right? Sometimes you got to lady hit the road, or our visions don't align, right? Hitting some dead weight. James says they got Mac Hollins, a very talented wide receiver. I do not know anything about Mac Hollins. I'm gonna have to write him down and do some film study on him. Maybe we can do that on the After Hours next week. Mac Hollins. Write that down. Mac Hollins. Let me get a piece of paper. Mac Hollins. Got that wrote down. We will break down his film. Watch him next week. Carson says salary cap. They were $50 million over the salary cap. Tre'Davious White came off 2-year season injury. Hyde employer. That's sad. Gabe Davis is good, but sneaky. He wasn't consistent. Very true. I was actually a big fan of Gabe Davis 2 years ago. Thought he was going to have like a breakout season, kind of be the guy. I had him on all of my fantasy teams, and then this season he's kind of just like shit at the bed. Let's just be honest. Jameson says the top 3 receivers for the Buffalo Bills are Shakir, Samuels, and Hollins. Samuels is the only one that I know, and I'm going to do film study on Mac Hollins. Carson says, I can see the Bills trading their number 1 and their second they got for the Texans and maybe a second or third to move up. I could see the Buffalo Bills definitely packaging their first and second round pick to move up to draft a receiver. I could definitely see that. Timothy Nicholas says, why are the Chiefs rebuilding? The Chiefs are not rebuilding. The Chiefs are just retooling. And even then, the Chiefs really aren't really adding that many pieces. They do have a big hole to fill with L'Jarius Sneed, but beyond that, they will draft a receiver in the draft, and they will find the next cornerback, the diamond in the rough per se, to fill Sneed. Jameson says Ayuk and Harrison Jr. would be a good duo. They got nothing at receiver. Jameson, let me ask you this. You as a San Francisco 49ers fan, I think Brandon Ayuk is the glue to that team. He is what makes everything kind of click, right? Yes, you do have your Debo and you got your CMC, but Brandon Ayuk is that X factor. He is the gorilla glue that makes everything kind of work. The 49ers have come out and said that they're not going to trade him. Basically, that the offer has not been out there good enough to do anything for him. Don't you think that the 49ers were going to want that 4th overall pick for Brandon Ayuk? I think the 49ers are going to be like, you want Brandon Ayuk? Give us your 4th overall pick. They're not going to let Brandon Ayuk walk for a second or third round pick. I just don't think it's going to happen. Shakir made a beautiful catch in the corner against the Chiefs last playoff game. He did. I do remember that. That's the number 10, right? Is it number 10? I think it's number 10. James says, think maybe they're going after Harrison Jr., as in the Buffalo Bills. If the Buffalo Bills are going after Harrison Jr., they're going to have to jump up into at least the 5th overall pick, right? Potentially 6th, right? To move up that much from 23 to top 5, it's going to take a package deal of 3, 4, maybe 5 picks. Are the Buffalo Bills willing to give 3, 4, 5 picks to move up to get a player like Marvin Harrison Jr.? Now, they did get 2 picks from the Houston Texans, a 2nd-round pick in 2026 and a 6th-round pick in 2020. A 2nd-round pick in 2025 and a 6th-round pick this season. That could be a part of your package. Trade 1st-round picks and maybe throw in a 2nd-round pick to move up to that spot. I don't know. But I feel like it is going to be a lot to move up. I think it would be a great fit. Big body receiver, big arm quarterback. If that does happen, if I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, I would be a little worried. Jameson says Higgs would have a breakout in Buffalo. Higgins is pretty good. I think the reason why Higgins is so kind of underrated because he's overshadowed, right, by Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase. Higgins is a good receiver, and I think if the Bengals were to lose him, it would be a very, very big blow to him. Deebo Samuels is the heart and soul of that team. He is the heart and soul, but I still think Brandon Ayuk is the glue. I still think he is the glue. Carson Lang says 49ers are going to F around and lose him completely. Need to pull a Chiefs and move and strike while the iron's hot and see what he gets. The Bills have like 10 or 11 picks this draft, I think. When I look at the Buffalo Bills in this draft, let me go to NFLtoday.co and look at their draft order. Click on the Buffalo Bills. And right there on the right-hand side of the screen, they do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks in this draft. You got 1 first-round pick, 1 second-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks, an early fifth round, or 3 fifth-round picks, 2 sixth-round picks, and a 7th-round pick. So yeah, they do have the picks to move up, right? So we will see. We'll see what happens. Let's do a mock draft tomorrow, guys. Let's do a mock draft. I'll go to pff.com and we'll do the top 10. We'll do some top 10. We'll include some trades. We'll see what happens. And there is a website out there, it's like Draft Calculator, and basically you say, I'm the Buffalo Bills. I'm sitting at number 23. I want to move up to pick number 4. What is it going to cost me? We will talk about that, all that, much, much more, guys, tomorrow, right here at NFLtoday.co. Man Hour, live, raw, uncut NFL talk. See you guys tomorrow. We out.